for you about somebody who is put in a situation where they have a difficult choice. Are we going to be honest, or are we going to continue to lie? And with the Seven of Lightning or the Seven of Swords, we know that this person in fact decides, I think I'm going to lie some more. And the Two of Candles or the Two of Wands being in the reverse means that this was a bad decision. Have you ever like had two different paths to get home, and depending on traffic or like events, you know, it could be a really bad decision to take the highway or to take like the back roads. This is somebody who makes the absolute wrong decision, like doesn't realize that there's a major football game, or I don't know, like some big famous person is visiting, and so traffic is awful. This is someone who should have probably taken a little bit more time to think about whether or not telling the truth was warranted in that situation. So let's call on spirit with a little bit of wind chime time, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. What should we start with? We're gonna go with the Wild Reflections Tarot. All right, what else do we have? What else? The Page of Cups and the Hermit with the Four of Wands. All right. Oh, hello, Lee. How are you doing? Thank you for the tip. Let me write that down for you. How will I make out at Danny's son's baby shower? Well, I hope that they change their mind on that, Lee. I've added that to the list. You as the first one, so thank you. We've got someone here who feels like maybe it's best to just kind of keep their distance. So I feel like this is the other individual. Someone who's very aware of what steps need to be taken to get to where they want to be, whether that's career or romance or regarding a relationship with someone in your family, right? Like this is, I know where I want to be, so I'm going to make sure that I take the right steps. But that requires honesty. Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, someone's wasting an opportunity to do the right thing, instead thinking about, it kind of feels like this is someone who just doesn't expect that they'll get caught. We have the Emperor. And the Six of Swords. Okay, so what's coming through is somebody who feels like either they have a level of protection that means that they can get away with things, or this is someone who feels like they have that power, right? So I don't know if you ever experienced like catching a parent of yours doing something that they were like supposed to not be doing. An easy example would be, let's say that between a married couple, one of them promises to quit smoking cigarettes, but then gives in and does so in front of their child. And then it's like, you know, that conversation of, oh, I thought you said you were going to stop that. This is someone who's like, I can tell you that I deserve a dispensation from that order. I can tell you or justify why I shouldn't have to follow that rule. Or I can, you know, plead my case to, I'm thinking of the dad in Clueless. Cher's dad was a lawyer and he was not good at disciplining his daughter at all. So we could have somebody who just might have been raised that way. We have the Sun in the reverse, the Two of Swords in the reverse, and Death in the reverse. So it looks like we've got some issues with regards to identifying that something that is currently secret is probably eventually going to come out. With the Two of Swords in reverse, this is somebody who just feels like, I don't have to make that decision, or, you know, like, I can talk about that eventually, but, like, I don't want to now, right? Yes, you're right, Rachel. How's your afternoon? Hello, Hooks. What's up? Clowning around. We got the Seven of Swords in the reverse. And the King of Swords in the reverse. So sometimes people will make it seem like they are confessing the truth, or they're telling you the whole story in hopes that if they give you a little piece of it, or if they kind of dress it up to make it sound better, that you'll leave them alone. And I feel like that's what they're doing here. It's like, I can tell you like some morsel of it or some little bit is true, but then I'm not going to tell you the real like aftermath or like what really happened. I'm just going to tell you a little bit. And I don't think that's going to work in this situation. I really don't. I think this is someone who's overplaying their hand. So we've got the Six of Pentacles and the World. This is someone learning a karmic lesson, because for a long time, this is someone who's felt like they didn't really have to do right by others, or they didn't have to like follow the same rules, or like I said, they feel for some reason that they don't, like they have this parent who's spoiling them, so like they're not going to actually get disciplined, or they are the parent, so even though they got caught doing something, they can just be like, oh, you just forget about that. Why don't you worry about your life? They feel like they have an out. All right, so why is that? Why do they feel like they can just be like, it's the end of the discussion? You know? You might have made a really good point and I have no rebuttal, so the only thing I can say is end of discussion. Yes. I think it could be either, Rachel. I think more likely the manipulative option, right? So we have the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups, with the Three of Swords and the King of Wands in the reverse. There is building resentment over someone's betrayal and their continuing dishonesty around that betrayal or around that decision. So whether that is a behavior like smoking, or if it's infidelity, or, you know, every time I tell you what's going on in my life and I say, hey, can you please keep this to yourself? You go and you like tell everybody else. There's something here where it's like, you can tell me that you have stopped doing that or that you've changed, but I can tell that you haven't. And it's leading to an argument. Another Seven of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, so there could be some, like, there could be somebody who decides to watch to see if this is what somebody's behavior actually looks like, or if they've been dishonest. We could have somebody who is doing some online sleuthing. We could even have a friend that's been recruited to see, hey, like, if you're, like, outside this person's workplace, like, are they out there smoking or what? I have to hold it this way to hide the nudity, because otherwise YouTube gets, like, they clutch their pearls, you know? This is someone who doesn't want to be honest, so I feel like this Queen of Cups is like, that's all right. You want to keep me in the dark? I'm going to find out a different way. You don't want to be honest? I can't trust you? Then I will do a little bit of sleuthing and maybe even like drive over to where you were during the break time and see if you're out there smoking, you know? So they don't feel like they can really let go of this friendship or relationship or whatever it is until they know for sure. And I feel like when they do show up, or they have this like little investigation, they find out that this is someone who's not being entirely honest. I tell you that I'm not going to do this, and then I turn around and I do exactly that. What else do we have? Nine of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. But if we've had such a long relationship, or, you know, we've been friends since childhood, there's no way you're just gonna like completely leave me I think this is someone who feels like they have power in this connection because of longevity or how long they've known someone. And they feel like no matter what has happened in the past, you two always end up back together, or you two always end up being friends again. They feel a little bit overly confident that they can continue to be disrespectful or dishonest. The Star in the reverse and the World in the reverse. They don't think that you would walk away. They don't think that you would have what it takes to actually end this connection, whether it's platonic or not. They feel like you are too invested, or you would find some reason to justify just like forgetting what had happened and letting it get brushed under the rug. All right, let's get some oracle cards. This is the Earth and Bone Oracle. Hello, April. How are you doing? No worries, Lee. I think I figured it out. We have Cage number 27. Independence, freedom, revelation, release, reclaiming reclaiming power. Easy for me to say. This is an important part of it, right? Whoever you're dealing with here, this is someone who feels like they can continue to lie and not have consequences for their actions. But they're asking you to be, I don't know, like look the other way, even though you know that they're doing something that they shouldn't. They're asking you to believe in them after they have lied to you multiple times. It's a big ask is what I'm trying to get at. It's one thing to build trust with somebody that you don't have any experience with, right? They don't have any like red flags or like demerits, right? This is someone who's like, hey, I know I've been a problem in the past, but I'm hoping you can just like forget that. We have the crossed card, number 13. Choices, stuck, searching for purpose, daydreaming, and indecision. So they're counting on you being stuck in indecision, not being fully ready to walk away from this romance or from this friendship. For many of you, I feel like this could be like a best friend. But this is someone who doesn't want to believe that if they fail to do right by you, that you would actually be okay with them not being in your life. Shadow, wholeness, integration, repressed emotions, and mystery. So if you were able to just pretend that everything was fine, even though I did something selfish 3 years ago and 5 years ago and then also 10 years ago, then surely you'll just look the other way when I do that again. Seems to be their general view of you. This is the Kipper. Hello, Mavis. How are you doing? Hello, I am. Hello, is it Delinia? How are you doing? Chaos can be used, you know, it can be quite effective. All right, what else do we have? False person, you don't say. And pathway came out in the reverse. So because of this person's intentions, because of their level of comfort in being deceptive or elusive or manipulative, they choose the wrong path. Path was in the reverse, right? They feel like they can take a shortcut, or they feel like they can get something that they want without having to sacrifice anything else. But they're taking a gamble, and I don't think it's going to pay off. Trying to think of like a good analogy for it. I mean, I suppose like raising the bet, hoping that you can continue the bluff that you have great cards, right? I guess I did say overplayed their hand earlier, right? So we've got someone who feels like they can have their cake and eat it too. They feel like they can, this is looking more and more like someone who has been disrespectful of a relationship. So this could be a friend who flirts with your significant other. This could be a significant other who flirts with strangers. This could be someone who is just not good at loyalty, however that applies to your connection. They don't see what you two have as something that should be protected in the way that they behave towards you. So they keep making these same like selfish decisions and then expecting you to be like, I guess that's just like who you are or whatever. Nope. I see you looking for change, maybe even moving. Wow. So we got the false person card and we got the thief card. So if I don't want to keep dealing with this person being, you know, a little self-absorbed or taking whatever they feel like they should, or, you know, maybe even just being jealous, then maybe I would be more successful elsewhere. Maybe I would be happier if I didn't have to worry about whether or not my best friend is going to hit on the person that I'm dating, right? This is someone wondering why they still interact with this individual. Why am I still dating you? Why am I still friends with you? All right, so let's see what else we get. This is the Tarot of the Cat people. Hello, Danny. How are you doing? Hello, Mukti. What's up? Yes, bad at love. Exactly. All right, what else do we have? Queen of Wands in the reverse. Four of Swords. Six of Wands. The path to success for you can be a quite short one if you listen to the warning signs and the intuitive messages that are guiding you away from this individual. This is saying it's a time for you to regenerate that magic and energy within you after dealing with a person who has been less than considerate. When you recalibrate or charge your batteries, you're able to go back out there, and I feel like there is a lot of success. So it's kind of like telling you, hey, we know you've been through a little bit of a rough time. You really don't need to be dealing with somebody who feels like it's okay to lie to you all the time. And we need you to be well rested because you're about to be like booked and busy. So if you've got possible like promotion, or maybe you're working on a project, maybe you're going to I don't know, start a family. There's something here where it's like, you better get some rest now while you can. You better like take it easy now. Don't be wasting your like vacation days dealing with somebody who just wants to lie to you the entire time. Hello, cats. How are you doing? Sometimes they move if I move enough. Yeah. They're not super fixed in place, right? Hello, Mac. How are you doing? So we've got someone here who is, I think, realizing it's time to reconsider whether or not I want to be friends with this person or whether or not I want to date this person. We've got the Two of Swords in the reverse. If they're, determined to keep doing the same thing, I don't think I want to be on board with that. I don't want to keep questioning whether or not I can trust this person to do right by me or to be honest about what happened. What else? Eight of Swords in the reverse, Seven of Swords in the reverse, and the Ten of Cups. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I think this is someone who's unwilling to be more respectful of your feelings than they are desperate for external validation. I said what I said. And if that's how they are, they're not going to be very reliable as far as doing right by that friendship or that loyalty to you, right? So the Seven of Swords in the reverse keeps coming out. That's about coming clean or being honest. But I feel like you have to extract the truth, or you have to pick up on what the truth really is based on what this person isn't comfortable saying. You have to realize, okay, so you're only going to tell me half the truth. I think I see what we're dealing with here, you know? Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Ziggy. How we doing? What's going on, Holy Ghost? All right, so we got the King of Pentacles in the reverse, the Star in the reverse, and the Ace of Cups. I feel like for many of you, you walk away in part because you want to protect a new relationship or a happy relationship. And for others of you, you're walking away from a friendship or a relationship and finding that like type of love that you've been hoping to have. So don't settle, basically, or, don't let people who want to take things that you like about your life away from you. Because this is someone who, I don't even know if they necessarily want the same things as you. It's like, I just want to see if I can have that too. Can I make that mine? There's probably some some insecurity going on with this individual. Maybe even some jealousy since we had the Queen of Wands in the reverse come out. Hello, HM. How you doing? Thank you for the flower, Dead Willow. We've got the 8 of Wands in the reverse. This is the Spanish tarot, by the way. The Lovers and the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah. I think you know, especially if you are happy in a relationship or getting to know someone and you want to like protect that romantic connection. If this is a friendship of yours, you're like looking at it as, I don't think I want to risk this. It's been how many times now that I've asked you to be respectful or asked you not to flirt with someone or asked you not to, you know, maybe even like sleep with an ex. Whatever it is, there's motivation here to be like, just don't think I want to introduce you to this person. If this is more so about tensions in a social group, it might be the dynamic of someone simply wanting more attention than you and comparing themselves to you consistently, right? Like, why don't I get more attention? Why don't people like me better? Again, it feels like it's rooted in insecurity and struggling with how well you do, right? Oh, thank you, HM. If I missed your question, I apologize. Are you able to send me like a screenshot? I try to do well with that, but sometimes they slip by. That's why it helps to include the question in the super chat like Nat just did. Makes it a little easier for me to make sure that I don't miss the question. That could be, Holy Ghost. Let me get this question down for Nat real quick. Anything my spirit guides want me to know? Awesome. I've added that for you, Nat. What else do we have? Wheel of Fortune in the reverse and the Ace of Wands in the reverse both talk about loss or like a missed opportunity. And then we also have the Hierophant. So this is someone who is going to, in, you know, at least a couple months, maybe even quicker than that, they're going to look back on this as, I wish I hadn't played games with that. I felt like that was a person that I wasn't ever going to lose, that they would always be there. But because I didn't really show them the respect that they deserve, I don't know if they would use those words, now I don't think I have access to them. It's like they're not considering that as an option or a possible outcome. We have the King of Swords in the reverse again, and the Knight of Wands. This person's like, I do what I want, and that's just like how it is, and I don't want to like tell you the truth about it, or I don't want you to like make me feel like I'm a bad friend for it. I'm just going to be dishonest about it, and then nobody gets hurt, right? But they didn't expect that at a certain point you'd be like, okay, I give up. That's like not what I want to do with myself. Like, I'm not going to be in a friendship like that. I'm not going to date someone like that. Time to go. Hello, Cynthia. How are you doing? Hello, Con. I hope you're having a good weekend. Hello, Amanda. How's your day? 4 of Cups. Rejection. They really didn't think that you would walk away. They didn't think you would end the friendship. They didn't think you would look at this as like so serious. They felt like you would be mad about it or you'd have a conversation and then you'd get back to like how things always were. But instead we've got the 4 of Wands in the reverse and the Queen of Cups in the reverse. It's like, no, how can we rebuild something if you're constantly going to make a mess of it? It's like some of those cleaning responsibilities seem a little bit silly if you have to do them over and over again, but it also makes a difference on your mental health, like making your bed, right? This is someone who's like, I just don't see why I should continue to try to make things better or make things like okay with you all of the time instead of you just like not doing the things that cause the arguments, right? Like, would that not be possible? Yes, I agree with that. Exactly. Yeah. So we have the Page of Gold and the Ten of Wands. The thing is, your energy is currency. Your time is currency. And if you invest in a friendship or in a relationship with someone that doesn't really take it very seriously, if you're telling them that they're doing things that make you feel unhappy or small or unimportant or disrespected, if they don't care, then there's not much that you can do to build on that, right? So we have a lot of these messages coming through, maybe because it's the start of the new year, and we've got some people who are really assessing who to keep in their inner circle. But this is, I think, saying it's time to walk away from someone who is not interested in being a good friend or being a good partner to you. We have the Fool, the Six of Cups in the reverse, and the Seven of Wands. Yeah, I think it's the right time. If they're not willing to let go of some of these immature behaviors or disrespectful ways, including for many of you flirting with your significant other, or flirting with friends of yours if you are dating, then you're looking at this as like, why am I doing this? Why would I want to be involved in that? All right, so this is the Situations deck. Can I call you her way? How are you doing? That's right, Nat. All right, this is the Situations deck, and we've got the Focused card, somebody who is trying to figure out what is going on. Like, why are you different? Why isn't this going the same way that every other argument has? Why, like, have you met someone else? Are you best friends with someone else? This is someone who's confused by your reaction, or for some of you, it might be an ultimatum. It could also just be like, I'm done. So they feel like there's got to be someone else involved or someone who's influencing you. There's also this question of, you know, should they actually be honest? Because this says about to reveal or confess. Do I have to be honest about what I've been lying to you about in order to keep this friendship or in order to stay in your inner circle? Okay, I flirted. Okay, I like making you uncomfortable, or I like getting attention from people who think that you're attractive. Whatever it is, this is about somebody who feels you're too attractive. So they feel jealous because they're in a relationship with you and you get so much attention. Or they feel jealous because they want that attention for themselves and your friends, and they feel like you always get the attention. Okay. Pressure cooker. So they're mad. This is part of why they feel like it's funny or amusing to try to go for the same people that you're interested in. It's like, since people are interested in you more often, that I have to try to like see if there's any way I can like make them choose me instead. But they keep messing with your love life. Either because they're not a good partner to you, or because they keep trying to steal your partner. So now they're thinking, okay, do I have to actually like confess that this has been a thing or that this has been a problem now that you're actually considering ending the friendship or the relationship altogether? Thinking back on the good times that the two of you have had, and that may not be, like, you might not have more memories to add to the collection because they couldn't help themselves with this insecurity or this jealousy. So they want to find a way to come to a compromise. I don't know if I like this, because it doesn't really feel like it's motivated by the right thing. We have sold and legal paperwork filed. See, I feel like you're already like on your way towards a different experience, a different living situation, a different social community. And this person's freaking out. They're like, wait, can't I like change your mind or something? Like, are you sure you want to go do that? Hello, Ray. How are you doing? All right. Let's get a few from the untold messages of the heart. Keep in mind that for those of you where this is a like competitive friend of yours, if this is more of a romantic card that gets pulled, that might not apply to yours, or it may apply to someone like that would be seen as a third party, right? Big happy changes are coming when you least expect it. Regrets. I could have, I should have, I would have. I think things are about to get really good in your life and this person doesn't have a seat at the table. Magnet. I keep being drawn back to you and I can't quite explain why. I feel like that's your energy, you know, like I know you aren't a good friend, or I know that, you know, I should have higher standards in a relationship, and yet here I am still putting up with how you treat me. Foolish. I feel like an idiot for the choices I've made. I wasn't thinking clearly at the time. I'm very tempted to be like, are you sure? You weren't thinking clearly at the time, because this seemed very like, I know what I'm doing and I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm also going to keep lying about it. Wasn't thinking clearly at the time seems deceptive, which is, you know, on par for somebody who has come through as lying about things. They feel like they've lost you and they're not coping well with it. So this could be a pretty definitive moment in their life where they are realizing, okay, I've actually been pretty selfish, or I've actually been pretty toxic, and also expected that you would just like look the other way or not call me out for it. And maybe I'm actually going to lose you if I don't change that. So they're having some introspective thoughts here, right? Little conversation with themselves. Maybe I really do need to work on the toxic energy that I've been like putting out there, or deal with the things that have made me feel less than, that push me to look for external validation, or make me feel like I need to compete with you. I know the clock is ticking for us. Won't you wait for me? But this says within a few months. I feel like there's big happy changes, promotion, better living situation, or a new love, or like elevation of your current relationship. There are good things that are happening, and this person isn't necessarily invited to that party, isn't necessarily invited to be there when you go through that glow up. Yeah, see, I feel like you're about to get into a really great relationship, or like level it up, right? Get engaged or get married or start a family. And not having this person who is prone to be quite jealous of you around is going to make it a much more enjoyable experience for you. Hello, James. How are you doing? All right. I love the way you make me feel, but I can't give you the same in return. So thank you for being such a good friend. Thanks for being so honest. Thanks for being reliable. I don't know how to do that for you. Thank you for being a great partner, loving, caring, and loyal, but like, I'm not going to do it. I'm selfish. Sorry. I don't see a lot of redeemable element here with regards to this connection. They do have some interest in learning their lesson, but I think they've got some work to do. So focusing on what you have going on seems to be the better play at this point. All right, let's get into those personal questions. We've got Lee up first, and then Nat Nat. This is the Cat's Eye Tarot. What else? No, not what else. How will Lee make out during Danny's son's birth or baby shower? How will the baby shower go? 9 of Swords, 7 of Cups in the reverse, the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, and the High Priestess in the reverse. It doesn't look very positively. I wish it were more positive. The 9 of Swords has a little kitty cat hiding underneath the bed. I do feel like there's some exclusionary conversation here, not really making you feel welcome, or, you know, saying things that are kind of like polite insult. There could also be references to something being cheap or less expensive, or, you know, oh, I don't shop there kind of thing. It's like looking down your nose, trying to be a bit judgmental, and the 7 of Cups being in the reverse is kind of like bold, right? Like I'm not really trying to pretend that I'm nice. I don't really like these people. We have the High Priestess in the reverse. There's also some whispering activity, probably some gossip in the other room type thing. But I also see somebody wanting to be helpful towards you. You know, hey, come over here and chat with me, Lee. So it kind of feels like you might have someone that doesn't want you to feel like you are an island. This could be a friend. This could be someone who's just got manners, you know. If I'm talking in a group of people and someone's only making eye contact with like 2 of the 4 people they're talking to, I might like kind of like tilt my head to the side, like, why are you intentionally with your body language trying to exclude people? Like, what's going on here? I'm gonna start to like analyze you. There's someone here who's observing this rudeness towards you and they don't like it. So I feel like they go out of their way to try to do something kind to you while these other folks are not very kind. And I like this Queen of Cups. So it does not have to be a woman, right? Aren't they adorable? Yeah, I have like a whole cat section over here. Hey, Bestie Tiana, how you doing today? So I'm glad to see that you have someone that is going to be looking out for you, Lee. Hold your head up high. You know, not like being a jerk, but you know, don't let people who are, if their favorite thing to do is to talk about someone and make them feel small, like, I don't know if I really care about their opinion. Oh, you don't like me? Shucks, what am I gonna do? I can't be friends with you? I bet you're a great friend, always talking about people behind their back, right? You know, like, all right, sorry, I have to focus on Nat's question. So we've got, what is the message from, did you say from Spirit? You just want to know what you need to know, right? What does Nat need to know from Spirit Guides? We have the Queen of Cups in the reverse, the Wheel of Fortune, the Ten of Swords, and the Lovers in the reverse. There is a risk here that you may not do something that you should be doing for yourself. Maybe there are other things going on or other, you know, people that have opinions. But there's like this window of opportunity, or like I'm looking at like an expiration date in my mind on a coupon. There's this window of opportunity for something that goes well for you, but you have to make the decision, right? You have to go there and do the thing for yourself or prioritize this over someone else trying to tell you what you should be prioritizing instead. And I do feel like this is a timeline or a deadline, even if it's not clearly stated. This is saying like you have a priority, something that's important to you, and someone's going to try to make you put that as like a second importance or like not as important as something else. And I don't feel like that's the right move. I feel like this person doesn't get to have a say in that or is wrong about what they're saying. So I feel this Ten of Wands is saying we've got to be able to assess what you already know about the situation. And if someone's opinion is wrong, don't change your opinion just to satisfy them, right? Oh no! Tiana, will you survive? So we have the Hierophant. This is just a reminder, Nat, that you've got this ability to either one, make very logical or sound decisions, or that you should be able to have confidence in your ability to read what's going on and know what the appropriate direction is. So have confidence in that. Don't let them persuade you to change your mind. And I think I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and I will see you in the next reading. Toodles.